One of the reasons why I like to drive everywhere, if possible, is, for example, Vienna at the moment. All the hotels, all the good hotels, are completely packed out and costing a fortune. I think the average price is about £2,000 a night. What I do is I stay slightly outside of Vienna. It's like a 10-minute drive, 15-minute drive. And I stayed this time in a beautiful little hotel, actually really a B&B, about 15 minutes out of the centre of Vienna, which is gorgeous. Although set in a residential area, it's surrounded by woods and has a beautiful garden tended by the lady owner. And it was wonderful actually to come to somewhere that was right in the middle of the countryside, although it was in the centre of town. And you got all the freshness of the air of the plants and the trees. The room itself was a lovely, huge, beautifully furnished, very much in home. Oh, look, there's me in the mirror filming it. Very much in home style. Terribly comfortable bedroom, bathroom, and a beautifully planned kitchen, which was sort of almost the ideal miniature kitchen for anybody living in one room. The Austrians, like the Germans and the Swiss, are very good at making the best of space and being thoroughly modern whilst at the same time being practical. The owners of this B&B were an elderly couple. I say elderly. The gentleman was exactly the same age as me. Well, actually 1 month older. He was born in November 1944. I was born in December 1944. And we got chatting about life and all the rest of it. And after he discovered my birthday, at one point he went online, came back and said, "Do you realise what percentage of people born in 1944 in the world are still alive?" And I said, "No." Vague guess, 10%, 20%? He said, 1%. We are in the 1% of people who are still alive who were born in 1944. God knows how much longer we've both got left. But as I sat outside my little room, sipping a morning coffee before heading into town, looking at the trees and breathing in the wonderful fresh air, I thought to myself, they're 81 years old and very happy to be alive. Oh, look, there I am in the greenery, peeking out at myself, seeing the world around me and the lovely colours of the flowers. For those of you who don't know, anyone under the age of about 60, I ran the BBC UK Eurovision quest way back in the 1990s. I think I took over in 1995 and we found a song called Love City Groove, which I thought was excellent and was played on stations like Kiss FM, which was a pirate station at the time, and appealed to mainly younger people. And I thought it was a great triumph that we were the entry that year. But we only came 10th. The main reason being that people then had to perform with a live orchestra. And with that sort of record, which is very much a rap track, it just didn't work that way. The next year, I thought the very best entry for Eurovision of all time, still my ideal entry. It was called Ooh Ah Just a Little Bit by Gina G. But she wasn't a great performer. In fact, she was working behind the checkout counter in Woolworths in Hampstead, where we found her. And she wasn't a terrific performer. And sadly, it only came 8th. So at that point, I thought, if I can't win with that, I can't win. And I resigned. The guys at the BBC begged me to stay. They said it was the first time music and television worlds had been combined and it really worked. Please give it one more shot. So I did give it another try, found the artist who was a great performer, Katrina, of Katrina and the Waves, a band I championed long ago with a track called Walking on Sunshine, and we made a track that actually went in and won the whole thing, getting more 12 points than any other country has ever got before or after in ratio to the amount of entries. So that was a winner, and for that reason I've become quite popular amongst Eurovision fans.
Just as well as I'm not popular with anyone else. Oh, except with fans of Genesis and 10cc, the Rocky Horror Show, the Bay City Rollers, or even some of those who liked my songs in the days gone by. Everyone's Gone to the Moon, Johnny Reggae, It's Good News Week. Remember them?
Many Eurovision fans know that when I saved Eurovision by winning for the UK with Katrina and the Waves singing Love Shine a Light in 1997, I think it was, that actually the show was about to be cancelled in numerous places because it had got so awful. And as a result, when we won with a really popular track, it completely boosted the ratings on television everywhere and stopped the whole thing being cancelled. So whenever I go to Eurovision, which I do quite often if it's on somewhere convenient, dozens of people come up to me and say, "Hello, Jonathan, thanks for saving Eurovision." That continues to this day. In Vienna, over the period I was there, I had about a dozen different people come up to me in a cafe or the street corner or wherever and say, "Jonathan King, thank you for saving Eurovision." More people remember me for that than for anything else.
This was recorded before the final for Eurovision. I'll get on to that in a moment. But my tip for the winner this year is actually just exactly where Katrina won in 1997. Delta Goodrem, who is a professional, may well win with Australia's entry, and I do like the idea of next year's Eurovision taking place in Sydney or Melbourne or somewhere down under. We shall see. But it's also rather sad because there is no entry in this year's Eurovision Song Contest that is a decent song. It is all performance and visual and special effects and the setting, and I think that's what will win this year. Anyway, stay tuned and find out whether or not I'm right. And I must say, Eurovision is always a very impressive event. So many countries, so much technically has to be done. People tend not to realise what a massive show it is, how it takes over whichever city it's in, and how it really succeeds. Well, I still think Delta Goodrem should have won, but Israel really shot themselves in the foot. Anybody watching the show would have known that to vote for Israel on a very average middle set track that they only came 10th or something in the jury vote was a serious mistake. And yet the Israeli vote, as usual, was huge and very nearly won. And the result was actually so overjoyed for Bulgaria, not because it was a better song, although actually it was anyway, but because Israel was beaten and the hype was beaten. Talk about encouraging anti-Semitism. Absolutely bonkers. See you next time round for A Victim Bites Back.